Day beautiful. It's Yogini Kala here. I finally had a sunny day. So I'm like basking in the sun, like you can see because my camera is right in front of my face. Um, so hope you're well. How are you doing? Hope it'll be an exciting year. But I want to be really honest with you and share in this video. I want to share some inspirational tips and get your feedback and your comments. I also want to share a little bit what's going on for me. I just had a very weird day today. So get a cup of tea and come on back. All right, I'm waiting. I'll wait. Go ahead. Turn the video off, come back. Okay, so I'm really grateful. I think that gratitude is really important. I have a gratitude journal, and I'm really grateful that today I did not have a lot of work. I was able to really sort of take a restful day. I didn't have any clients for hands-on healing work today, so I got up kind of late, and so that may be a problem. Does that ever happen to you? Your day doesn't get off to the start you want, and then it's like energetically, it's hard to get it back. Like your day slips away from you. Does that ever happen? Okay, share. So, yeah, I had a strange day, had a disturbing email, and that really sort of upset me. So I apologize if my energy is a little bit off, but I really wanted to refocus on what I wanted to do and refocus on the positive. I put on some dance music and I danced around. So what do you do when something throws off your energy? So that's one of the things I do. I put on like some really old songs and just danced around, and it helped. There's another thing going on with someone that I'm in a group that's supposed to be a supportive group, and this person is, I think, not being as supportive as they could be, not to me, but to some other people. So it's just interesting. So guys, what I wanted to talk about is what might be holding you back, because I know as someone who I think has been coaching all my life, I'll digress a little in the story. I was telling my therapist, and I think everyone should have a therapist. I was saying to her when I was younger and I was in my 20s, I'd say to my friends, so what are your dreams? Let's talk about your dreams. And I specifically remember one time where one friend got kind of sad and was like, I don't want to talk about that. And then there was a guy there, and he goes, yeah, nobody wants to talk about that stuff. I was like, wait, your dreams, you don't want to talk about them? Anyway, so I said to my therapist, I realized, and this helped me, and you may want to do this, or this little kernel of truth, look back at what tendencies and traits you've had all your life, because very likely that's part of your mission and your vision. So I've always been, especially when I was younger, very, very even though I battled with depression, this was before the bullying, I would still be very optimistic. When I started to learn a lot of woo-woo stuff, I would put it into action, and great things would happen for me. And I've mentioned it before that friends would be like, well, stuff happens for you. It was like the book I showed you, that Lucky Bitch book. They would just think that I was lucky. And I'm like, well, a big part of it is belief. You have to believe these things are going to happen, and then you take certain actions and you expect, and so on and so on. So on that note of realizing that I've always really had this strong urge to help people, and it just made me feel good to realize even in my 20s, I didn't really know very much, but I was trying to pull out of them what I thought would make them happy, what their dreams were. And for some of them, it seemed to really just bring them down. So that's just an interesting realization. So thinking about that, I don't want your dreams to bring you down, because I believe your dreams are with you for a reason. For a reason. Now, I was coming originally out of a Buddhist background, and there was this idea that you really want to let go of desires, because the desire, wanting things, grasping at anything too strongly, the thought was that it is going to sort of bind you and cause pain. And so there's sense of detachment is part of Buddhist thought. And that's fine, and I maybe didn't explain it super well, but there is definitely this sense of detach from clinging. Clinging is like when you really, really, really want something to be a certain way and holding on to it, and that causes pain. I definitely see that, but I also think we have to have a right relationship with desire. and our desires, and figure out how to work with them. There goes my crazy radiator. So that brings me to what is holding you back. And I just made 2 lines of notes. What's holding you back? And I feel like when I think of what's anything that holds me back in any area, the 2 things that I came up with, and I really want to know what you think. I think it's always fear or not knowing what to do. Okay, I think it's one of those 2 things. It's either fear, and it can be fear of many things, right? Fear has many tentacles, but it's either fear or simply not knowing what to do. And actually, you could have both. You could have both holding you back, right? I just realized that. You could have fear and you also don't know what to do. But, it's worth exploring. Your dreams are with you for a reason. So I'm just asking you at this point, are you aware of what's holding you back? And to really take some time to introspect. And I consider myself an introspective person, you guys, but I found it was only when I had a day that I really had a big chunk of time and I didn't have anything planned, even stuff that would have been like by myself. I just left it open. And then I just got some mental clarity because I needed that space. So my first tip is just that give yourself space and time to look at your life, to look at it like you're looking at a photograph or like you're looking at a film. And our society, Western society, does not encourage that at all. What I see is that most people are just running. And I've talked about this before because this is a really key issue. Most people are just running, but sometimes you're not sure what you're, running after, running towards. So take that time for introspection. And it's not too late for 2019. My word was receptivity, and I'd love if you have come up with your word and haven't shared it yet to share it below. And so, yeah, it's fear. The fear can be about what if you succeed? That can be one fear. The other fear can be what if you fail and you've told people about your dream, and then it doesn't happen and you fail. That can be a real, I think, downer for people. That can hold people back. So fear of failure, fear of success. But what we really need to focus on is don't focus on the fear. Focus on what you want. Focus on the desire. Bring it to the positive, okay? That's what I find helps when I have accomplished my dreams, especially if it's a big dream, is to keep that vision of what I want alive. Does that make sense? To get very happy about it. So one suggestion I wanted to make, and this is the bulk of the video I wanted to tell you, is sometimes it really helps to write out not affirmations, individual affirmations, but to write out a story where you just literally write I am, and then you just sort of roll through like it's a film, like you're watching your day. Just write it out like a paragraph or 2, and it just gets you going because it's not just single phrases. It's like a whole story, like my life goal story, my ideal day story, or whatever. So that's something you can do, when you have a little time soon, so that 2019 is different than 2018. And I just want to share that the energy is definitely different. All the sort of intuitives that I take in their content, and I feel the very same way just from my intuitive, and they're like astrologers and so on, are saying the energy is very, very different. We had a Leo, I think it was a lunar eclipse, and I'm a Leo/Virgo, in my chart, but basically a Leo in the Western system. And so it's very much about how you want to put yourself out in the world. So this is the time, Goddess, to think about how do you show up in the world? How do you want to be seen in the world? Because Leo is very much, it's the lion, right? The lioness, very powerful. And it's sort of your ego, but this is a time you're here for a purpose in this very confused world. And it's important for you to tap into that purpose, feel what that is, and then just start, even if it's little steps, to take it. out into the world. So don't be afraid, or at least know that you're afraid. Actually, I don't mean to say don't be afraid. Know that you're afraid, and you can still act. All of the successful people that I've studied, and I know for myself, when I have been successful, I always make it very specific. I've usually still been afraid, but the desire or the dream overcame the fear. Okay, so let the desire lead you forward, pull you forward, so you don't feel like you're pushing yourself. You're really being pulled by your vision. So have a bold vision. And like I mentioned in my last video with this book review, of this book about gutsy women, when you get an idea or even your mission, see if you can make it bigger, better, bolder, so that it is inspiring. So your goals should feel exciting. If they don't feel exciting, then they are too small. Okay, they're too small. They're not going to get you up in the morning. They're not going to keep you up at night after your job to work on it. They're not going to help you write the book and the blog post and stuff. So the dreams have to be big enough. If they're not big enough, they're not going to motivate you. And if they don't scare you a little bit, also, that means that I think they're not big enough for you. So examine if fear is holding you back. And with fear of failure, you guys, every successful person, in fact, I just was reading, I think it was a Michael Jordan quote. He said, I have failed, and I have failed repeatedly, over and over, and that's why I'm a success. And so all of the successful people that I have observed, they have failed, but they keep going. So don't let failure keep you down. It's that Japanese saying, it's something like fall down 7 times, get up 8. I love that, and there are proverbs in every culture about that type of resilience. And you guys know I'm going to review that book, Resilience, that I'm reading. I really think that's going to be a theme for me this year, and to encourage you. It doesn't matter that you failed before. I have failed. Let me see. In fact, I'm going to do a video about all the different types of work I've done. It is going to be hilarious. I'm just going to list them and comment on them. But I think I'll save that for a separate video. I have had so many different jobs and done so many different things. It's and just for some people, there's a lot of change in their lives, and you never know. That might be the success, is that ability to change and adapt and do different things. So I think you're going to find, Goddess, that what you might think is your weakness is going to turn out to be your strength. So for me, my weakness is I'm very versatile. I can do a lot of different things. And so it's interesting now as we get into the age of the digital age and social media, and just where you have to do many different things, that plays to my strengths, where before sort of you can do so many different things, and you do so many different things could be seen as a negative. And it was certainly when I was growing up. I grew up still in the era where, one job, one solid job, and that was all you were supposed to do all your life. And clearly that's not now. So I really want you to think that what you may perceive as your weakness is actually going to turn out to be your strength. And it's going to be what you end up using and leveraging to be joyful and to, have your dreams. So anyway, I hope this was inspiring. Share any comments below. I would love, love, love to hear from you. Mwah. Namaste.